Welcome, everybody. Today, we are having an open house session for my brand new membership, which I'm so excited about. It's called Empower Hour. And I know a lot of people RSVP'd that they're coming, but I know life happens. So we are recording this and we will be sending it out to everybody. But I'm happy to have my daughter, Noah, here with us, and Trish, who actually just became a GiRLiFE coach. So that's cool. And I know you have two young daughters. And I just want to share a little bit about what Empower Hour is. First, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Melody Pourmoradi. I am a twin girl mom to 16-year-old girls. One of them is right next to me in this Zoom room right now. Noah is actually going to be joining us for Empower Hour. She's going to be my partner in shine in this amazing membership because she's been a part of these lessons for how many years now, Noah? Like, how many years have we been running workshops where you were the participant and now you're like helping me run them? It's been like
Probably 8 or 9.
8 or 9 years,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Kind
Yeah.
of crazy, but very exciting. So she's coming along for the ride, and I think she's going to bring so much value because she is an example of a young girl who's out there living her passions and using these lessons to really live her best life. Would you say that's true?
Definitely.
Yeah. We'll have you share more on that a little bit later. So twin girl mom is like my main role in this world. I am an author of 2 books, Empowered Women, Empower Girls, and my children's book, XOXO from a Girl Who Gets It. And I'm a podcast host of Empowering Her. And my greatest passion project to date is being the founder of the GiRLiFE Academy, where we train women to run profitable, impactful girls empowerment workshops and become girls empowerment coaches. So these are all the things I get to do, and I always very aware of how blessed I am to do work in the world that I love. That was not by accident, that was by creation, and I believe that we're all creators in our own lives. And the work that I do with girls. So I started running workshops about 10 years ago in my home. We did some virtual workshops during the pandemic. And this is really the next iteration of my work in the world, is starting this membership so that I get to work with girls in this space in a virtual capacity, girls all across the globe. And it feels very exciting to me that we can congregate in community in this way and bring girls in from different cities and different countries. And the goal is, I mean, there's so many directions I can take this in, because first and foremost, I want girls to be introduced to their many superpowers. We all come into this world with so many superpowers, but we also develop superpowers in life through challenges, through difficulties. Things become are revealed to us that we didn't even know exist. So we want girls to know that even when things aren't good, life is working for them. So that's the first thing we want to do. The second thing we want to do is that we want girls to not dim their shine. We want them to turn the volume up on who they are and turn the volume down on the outside voices of social media and the world and our school system telling girls who to be. And so coming into a space like this, I want every young girl to feel safe. I want her to feel seen and acknowledged. It is a membership. So some girls will be there for both days of the month. We're going to be meeting on the second Wednesday and the fourth Thursday of every single month. And we're going to be meeting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're really going to hang out. Like, we're going to start with a dance party and, just like getting silly, inviting the girls to not be afraid of how they appear. We want them to have fun. We want them to be in joy. We're going to do an icebreaker that's going to help them feel comfortable with one another. That being said, participation is not required. Of course, it would be more than welcomed. But if your daughter sits and simply listens to the messages, I know that we are planting seeds of wisdom within her. And I know that she will walk away with new information. These messages, the reason we turn this into a membership is because it's not enough to hear these messages once or twice or 3 times or 4 times. We want to continuously be telling your daughter that she is powerful beyond measure. We want to continuously show her all the ways that she's powerful. We want to introduce her to her inner toolkit so that in every arena of life, she's able to access those inner tools. And this doesn't always happen after 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. So we want the consistent exposure to these messages. And if your daughter participates, even better, but it's not required. I mean, I think of myself when I was a young girl, and I was not the girl who would put up my hand, but I was listening and I was absorbing and I was a sponge, but that wasn't the way I necessarily felt I would learn the most. I was the girl who sat and I let other people do the talking, but I still walked away with so much. So I don't want you to fear. I feel like I've gotten a lot of questions in this way, like A, what happens if my daughter doesn't participate? And B, what if my daughter can't make it to one of the sessions? And this is why all of our calls will be recorded. They will go in your daughter's online portal. She will have access to them all the time. She can listen to them more than one time if there's something that she felt like she needs a revision on. But there's an online portal that's very easy to use. As soon as you sign up, you get all the instructions, how to get on there, how to get your daughter on there. We ask that parents don't hang out on the Zoom call, not because we don't love you, but because the girls learn in a different way when their parents aren't necessarily around. So you might be in the next room, you might be in like the kitchen while she's in the den, listening along, participating along. But what we want is for these girls to have this as like an independent place to go, where they get to hang out with like-minded girls who are also being exposed to these messages of empowerment. Now, these messages of empowerment are not messages that are taught in school. Our school systems do so much for our children, but emotional intelligence is not one of those things that the school system thrives on, because they can't, because there's so many other things they need to do. So we want to fill in that blank for your daughter, because at the end of the day, I know this to be true after working with hundreds of girls and training hundreds of women to work with girls. I hear the feedback, and these are the skills that we learn in workshops like this. These are the skills that will serve our girls for a lifetime. It will serve them in their relationship with themselves. It will serve them in their relationships with others. It will serve them in the way they show up in the world, in the way they allow their passions to come through, not fearing themselves, not being afraid to be themselves, not being afraid to be weird or to stand out or to shine bright. These are the messages that will truly, truly serve them. And I, this is what I've made my business. My business is about the business of empowering girls. So what is it that we're going to be talking about? We are going to be exploring the idea of gratitude, and how when we step into gratitude, we actually literally change the physical makeup in our body. We change the way we feel in the moment when we step into gratitude, because when we're thankful, it's very hard to be fearful or angry. We'll talk about self-love and self-confidence. We're going to talk about how to meditate together, how to literally in the moment just regroup, recenter yourself, recalibrate your energy. Maybe it's when you're in the middle of a test and you're getting nervous, right? Maybe something's happened with a friend and you don't know how to handle it. In that moment, we're going to teach you peace begins with me, so that you know that your PowerPoint is always, it comes from you. It doesn't come from anyone outside of you. We're going to talk about our perspectives and choosing perspectives that serve us. We're going to talk about the words that we use and how they create the home that we live in. I know that these sound like very high level principles, but after years of doing this work, I share them in a way with the girls that makes it fun and engaging, in a way that actually gets through to them. So these are principles I wasn't learning until my 20s and 30s, and I wished I had learned them earlier. And that's why it's such a vision of mine to introduce girls to all of these methods and these principles and ways of being from as young of an age as possible. So this workshop is specifically for girls 7 to 12 years of age. In the future, I'm sure I will also be introducing it for teens and even for younger girls. But this is literally a pilot. So this is the first time we are running this membership, bringing girls together in a virtual space. So you guys you're going to get to grow with me here. Your daughters are going to be what we call founding members of this membership. What does it mean to be a founding member? It means that they are getting in right now at $44 a month. Cancel at any time if you feel that this is not aligned for her or she's not feeling it. Nobody has to stay in this space if it's not for them. But when they get in at the $44 rate, when our rates increase, and they will, your daughter will be locked in at that price. So she's a founding member. The next thing that you will get as the parents of a founding member is that you will get access to my best-selling course. It's called the Empowerment Sessions. It's valued at $99. And it's free for you. Like, it is your bonus for signing your daughter up. So already, like, you're gaining a gift. And the empowerment sessions are basically 33 audios that are going to share with you how to support and sustain the messages that your daughters are learning in this space. So I'm trying to think if there is like anything that I haven't covered. I'm going to take a little break. Noah, do you have anything to say? Trish, do you have any questions? I know that we don't have a lot of people live with us here. And so if anyone is watching this on the replay, by all means, feel free to message me, Instagram, Facebook, really anywhere. And I'll be happy to answer questions that you guys have. But in the meantime, this is super casual and informal, and the three of us. So feel free to add anything that you guys would like or ask any questions. And we have someone coming in.
I don't think I have any.
Yeah, you and I had an extensive conversation yesterday. You're like, I could teach this information session, right? How about you, Noah? Anything to add? And welcome, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. Feel free to turn your camera on if you'd like.
Oh, I do have a question, Melody. Is there a limit to the number of girls?
So we're not putting a limit on it. No. So this is not like, I'm so glad you asked that question. So this is not like one-on-one coaching, right? Like where I'm going to be coaching each of these girls one by one. This is a group format. It's a membership. So it's going to be a revolving door because we'll have new girls coming in. We'll have girls who, for whatever reason, are going out. It will just be an ongoing thing. So there will be times when there are 4 girls on the call, and I'm sure there'll be times when there are 25 girls on the call. But the goal is, like, we call it Empower Hour because we want girls to literally come in, like we want them to have this like home base to pop into twice a month and know that they're going to walk away with some tools and some new friends, and some new information that's really life-changing.
So it's through Zoom then?
Yeah, it's going to be just like this. We're going to be in a Zoom room and we're going to hang out in this way. Absolutely.
So it's sort of like the maximum number you can fit on a Zoom call then.
Pretty much. And like, I know how things like this work. Like when you launch something, it's slow and steady growth. And obviously I don't want it to get to a place where it's hard to handle or it's hard to manage. But I will always have, obviously, every young girl's best interest at heart, and we will be creating a warm and inviting space. And when I say that, like, new girls will be coming in each time, like at the beginning of each call, I'm going to go through the same thing that I always share at the beginning of every workshop. And it's that we want to teach girls, like we want to teach you guys that you are in charge of the thoughts that you think. And when you're not feeling good, you get to choose a new thought. Like you have that amazing power of choice. And so when you choose a new thought, you feel differently. When you feel differently, you behave differently, and life is different. So there's always going to be a little bit of revision at the beginning, and then we're going to introduce a concept, and we're going to open the floor for the girls to talk. So if someone wants to share something, by all means, like we're more than welcome to that. And then she'll share something, and perhaps it'll spark something else that someone else wants to share. The goal is, what I've learned after this pandemic is that these girls are feeling so alone. Their friendships have changed, because like, of course your friendships change when you don't see your friends for 2 years on and off, give or take. And they want to just be in a place that feels safe and feels like home. And I keep using the word home because that's ultimately what I want. I want this space that we're creating to feel like home. And I also want the girls to know that they can always come back home to themselves, no matter what is happening in the world or in their lives. So yeah, that was like a really long-winded answer to your question, Trisha.
I have something to add to that actually.
Yeah, please.
I
Noah's my
feel like
daughter, by the way, for the new people who've joined us. Noah is my daughter, and she will be joining us on Empower Hour and helping to, to really like bring the girls into this space and make them feel safe, heard, seen, acknowledged, and at home. Go ahead, honey.
I feel that like many people, mostly everybody, they don't really realize how important this is. Like I've been lucky enough to have you teaching me all this for so many years, but I really realized, like especially as I entered high school, how much I need this. And I use it so much. Like I get to have I'm so lucky I get to have conversations with my mom like every day after school about all this. I got like my own coaching session. But I read her book every single night. Like no joke. I read her book every night.
This
That book, I have it right
really
in
like come and show me which message she got. Like, because I always say, close your eyes, choose a message.
I choose a message and that's my message for that day. And I remember it throughout the whole day. So I feel like especially kids don't really notice how much they need like they need all of this because if you want to feel strong in society and in school, you have to know how to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anybody to have that respect and love for you as well?
Beautifully said. I'm like feeling like a very proud mama right now. um, yeah, like these are obviously principles. Thank you, Noah. That was really great. And these are principles that my girls grew up with. These are the principles that I wish that I keep saying it, but like, I think as women, we create what we needed as young girls. And that's really what I've done with GiRLiFE, which is, the umbrella of my business is teaching other women to introduce girls to their superpowers. But it's like, this is how we make change. This is how we change belief systems from when girls are really, really young. And when girls come into this world knowing that they are already whole, I think that's like the thing. I think sometimes the world makes us feel like we're broken, whether it's social media and like the filtered images or like what people are doing on TikTok. Like it's enough to really mess with your mind and make you think that that's reality. And I'm an adult and I'm very aware of how I like sometimes get sucked into the craziness of it all. So these kids, and we didn't have that when we were growing up, right? Now these kids knows this more than anyone. You go into that virtual space and like 20 minutes passes and you're like, where did I just go? And what did I just see?
It's the worst.
It's the worst. And our subconscious minds make up 96% of our brains. Only 4% of our minds are our conscious minds where we know what's going in and we know what's coming out. The rest of it is being filed back here somewhere that we're not even aware of. So when we're talking about things like self-love, self-respect, there are ideas that are popping in that we're unaware of. And so it's so important to get mindful of the content that we are exposing ourselves to, but also the content that we are exposing our daughters to. And so this is our effort to make this virtual space a space that is filled with positivity and light and growth and forward movement and empowerment. It's an empower hour twice a month. Like that's what these girls are going to get. And as I, for those who just joined us, we really talked about earlier how it's like these girls, if they just show up, we just want them to show up, even if they don't participate. I want them to hear what it is that we're sharing. It will take many times for them to hear these messages until they start to believe them for themselves, and they start to allow it to activate in their hearts and in their minds, and to use it like in real time, in real life circumstances. So that being said, any other questions, anything coming up for anyone? I love that Mara is joining us from Greece, right? Am I right that you're in Greece? So freaking cool. This is why we do what we do, so we can all come together in community in this way. And raise the empowerment to the next level. Yes, in Greece. I love that. Rebecca, where are you joining us from? I'm sure that we've communicated over the last week or so. And feel free to share how old your daughters are, and if you have any specific questions about this program that we are piloting, that we're doing it with such excitement and love. Mara's in her PJs because it's really late right now in Greece, so I completely understand. Any questions, any comments?
I'm just sorry I was late. I was trying to find the link. It wasn't working, and then I was able to get it to work. But I've got a daughter. She's 10. Allie Nalgi is the one that sent me this just today. So I'm kind of late to the party, but I wanted to do her GiRLiFE program the last couple summers she's done it, but it hasn't worked out because it's conflicted with the camp. But I have twins that are 10, boy, girl, and that's my daughter Eden, and then another son that's a year younger. So it's full up crazy, full throttle here all the time. But she needs, female influence, and sometimes we're very similar, so we repel. Right. So I just, would love to have a little bit of like I say, open communication, kind of a promotion, and then also just really kind of guiding her through a lot of these hormonal changes that have been plaguing our house.
Sure. I totally understand, Rebecca. Thank you for introducing yourself. I love Allie so much. Allie is one of our GiRLiFE coaches, and she was so sweet to share about this membership with her community. Yeah, that's like, Rebecca, that's something really important. Sorry, there's like a fly. Something important that you really touched on. Like, as mothers, we come to our daughters with certain information, right? And sometimes it's really great, and our daughters hear us and they're like excited about it. And sometimes they're like, okay, mom, like rolling their eyes, and like, I remember many times when my girls would be like, oh God, mom's turning this into a lesson, or like whatever it is. And that's completely understandable. And so I want to be that person for your daughter. I want her to hear my voice, and I want her to, and then maybe she'll come to you and talk about the things that she learned, which, by the way, we end, Trisha, no problem. Yeah, Trisha just had to go. Yeah, we end every lesson where I always say to them, I want you to go and share this with somebody that you love, whether it's a sibling or a parent or a babysitter, because that's how we like really ingrain the messages in our minds. But like, I so get that sentiment, Rebecca. And so sometimes they need to hear it from someone who's not mom. And that's the goal here, is for me to share these messages with your daughter, and through exposure, through her hearing about them a couple times a month, I know that these girls take it to heart. I mean, when I hear about the girls who were in my workshops, when I see the mothers in the street, or I get a DM like from a mother saying, my daughter was having a nightmare, and I literally, like, I heard something in the middle of the night. So I went to check in on her, and she was sitting up in her room, and like the mom literally sent me a picture. Like, her daughter was up meditating in her room. Like she had learned how to meditate. And instead of running to mom and dad and waking them up and like, you know, feeling scared in that way, she decided to like focus on like, what can I do right here, right now? And she did the meditation and peace begins with me and her 5-5-5 breathing. And like, so we hear things like this all the time. And that is really the goal, is for girls to be able to nourish and nurture themselves in the way that, you know, we as women only start to do when we're older, in our 30s and our 40s, if we're lucky. Awesome. Awesome. So any other questions, you guys? Anyone? I'm trying to think. Noah, is there anything I missed? So I don't know if I mentioned this when you guys were here. So your daughters are going to be like, if you decide to join, your daughters will be founding members of this membership. This is a brand new branch of my business. Up until now, I've only run virtual workshops or in-person workshops. Now we're bringing this into a membership format. Like I said, I want girls to have a safe place where they can come hang out twice a month and just show up for Empower Hour and be exposed to these messages. So as a founding member, your daughter would get in at $44 a month. And she would have access to the online portal. Everything will be recorded. So if she misses a session, she will always have it accessible to her. And then as a founding member, as the parents, as the moms of a founding member, you get the empowerment sessions, which is one of my best-selling courses, as my gift to you. And it's 33 audios that will basically share how you can support and sustain the messages that your daughters are learning when they are in this space with us. How do you nurture it? Like, how do we talk to our girls about certain things? It's all in there. So the price is going to be going up. And when we use the term founding member, it means those who are coming in to join us before that happens will always be locked in at that rate. Anything else? I'm just looking at my notes. There was a mom who had said that she's just afraid, like her daughter can only make it to one session a month. And to be honest, when I was starting this, I was only going to do one session a month. But when I started gauging the interest, I had a lot of different interest for different days. So I said, you know what, let me do 2 days of the month. And this way, girls will at least be able to make it live to one of our sessions. And then they can watch the other one in the online portal at their convenience. It's going to be the second Wednesday and the fourth Thursday of every month. And we're meeting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know that's going to be a little late for you, Mira, but I was trying to hit all the time zones. I apologize that it is late. But that is what is going on. If you are interested in this, I'm going to share the link in the chats. Feel free to enroll. We start on March 8th. I'm super excited that it's around the corner. MelodyPourmoradi.com/empower hour is where you can sign up. If you happen to think of any questions after we get off, feel free to DM me, email me at melody@getgirlpower.com. If you know somebody who might benefit from this, may I ask that you share the love, share their information with me, share their information, however you want to do it to make the introduction. We want to make this a global membership where girls across the globe are literally being introduced to their superpowers. I'm just so excited. Like I haven't felt this excited in a really long time, because I just know the impact that this will have for our young girls and how much it is very much needed. Thank you, Mayra. Thank you, Melody. I will be waiting to hear back from you. Irene turned 6 in May. Yes. So let me gauge the interest of the ages. If I find that we're leaning towards the younger side, Mayra, I will absolutely let you know, and we will have your daughter join us. And I will love that so much. And that's really it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Noah, thank you for being my co-pilot here. I love you. And I look forward to seeing your daughters in Empower Hour.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.